tornadoes to hurricanes, blizzards, and everything in between, you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Stormfront Freaks are former television meteorologist Mark Massaro, collegiate senior in atmospheric science Brady Harris, digital meteorologist and weather producer for The Lift on the Weather Channel app Dina Knightley, freelance on-camera meteorologist and former Weather Channel meteorologist Kim Cunningham, and I'm your announcer and Skywar Network radio operator Mark Johnson. Now, here's the moderator of the Stormfront Freaks podcast, amateur storm spotter Bill Johnson.
All right, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the Stormfront Freaks podcast and Stormfront Freaks Raw if you're viewing us. It's really Stormfront Freaks Raw if you're Dina, because she's in the dark right now, it looks like. Apparently, no power, is that right?
No power.
No
it
power.
Just went out right when we were about to go on.
All right, so through the power of cellular data networks and cell phone cameras, Dina is joining us right now. But this is episode 26, and our guest is storm chasing photographer, author, and Emmy-winning director. Good God, Michael Olbinski.
Not a director.
What's that?
Not a director.
Well, you do movie. I mean, you do film, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I would call that directing.
That's not how I won the Emmy, though. I don't want anyone to think I won an Emmy.
Okay, so how'd you win the Emmy? Quick.
Oh, I was one of the local stations did a monsoon special they do every year. And they used all my footage one year for the whole
so they
show.
used your footage, right?
Yeah, they did.
So that's pretty good. It's close enough.
It's good.
It's not a poker
In
game.
my book, Mike, you are an Emmy-winning director. Okay. But hey, we'll also be discussing over-edited storm photos and also how people tend to screw up the etiquette of posting and crediting photos on social media. And I'm probably one of those people too, actually. But and as always, hey, stick around for our Weather Fools and our WX resources. We'll announce also the winner of our weatherproshop.com cap and resource card drawing. So we got all kinds of great stuff coming up. And it is May 4th, which is May the 4th be with you.
Be with you.
Yeah, so it's Star Wars Day. I'm sporting my Star Wars shirt. Mike's got Captain America. You're kind of in the same family.
It's a little Lego Millennium Falcon.
Good enough. Good enough. And
well,
hey,
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out today. I was maybe going to see it tonight, so that's why I have the shirt
today.
on.
Okay, fair enough. It's, again, all part of the Disney family. I see MJ's got his Star Wars cup. But if you're watching our live show, hey, we will be monitoring Twitter throughout the recording. So if you have questions or comments, I hear someone talking in the background. Who is that?
Oh, sorry.
Dina's in the dark. That's the darkness.
Dark here.
Okay.
Oh, Dina.
Wait, everybody?
Well, you know.
Oh, I see a child.
So hey, if you are watching us live, feel free. You can tweet your questions or comments. Just put hashtag Stormfront Freaks on your tweet. We'll monitor that. And if you got questions for Mike or anybody else, we'll share that. But let's go ahead and introduce the team, and we're going to find out what everybody's drinking for happy hour right now. MJ, we'll start with the Star Wars glass guy up in Minnesota. What do you got?
You bet. I think I've had this combo before, but in honor of May the 4th be with you, it is my Star Wars glass,
Nice.
and I am drinking a Captain Morgan and Coke again.
Captain Morgan and Coke. Okay.
That's it.
You got original. I've got again, this is from a different Cincinnati brewery. Kim, you might be familiar with Rheingeist.
Oh, yeah.
But they have their baseball special beer, which is called Hustle.
Charlie Hustle.
Yep. Named after the great Pete Rose. It is a red lager. Very delicious,
Nice.
very delicious beer. That's what I'm sipping on.
My husband would like that.
Really? Okay. Well, I'll get him some next time you guys are up here.
Awesome.
All right, and then Dina's in the dark down in Atlanta with the rest of her family down there that we hear. What are you drinking? What are you drink? You got to be drinking something. You're in the dark.
I should be. I had just made a cup of coffee before the power went out, and that's really all I got to.
Oh.
Okay.
It's kind of boring. But,
Okay,
you know.
yeah, you're usually a little more exciting than that.
Yeah. Why
I know.
coffee? Aren't you going to sleep?
No, probably not.
That's
Aw.
nice. Okay, well, Maz is in Cincinnati. What do you got, brother?
Hey, I'm with MJ. A little bit of the captain. Well, actually, I had a little bit of the captain. It's
Very
almost
nice.
gone.
You already
Start
need a
the
refill.
show. Yeah, start the show.
Time to okay. Well, we need the captain's good. I'm tempted now to run upstairs and get my captain too. Kim in Atlanta, what are you drinking? Kim's got lights, so she's not affected too bad.
No, but Dina, that same line that came through here too, but we kept power. We had tons of rain today. Anyway, I am drinking, of course, an IPA, and this is Terrapin, and this is called High Five. So it should have been High 4 for today, right? For the 4th be with you, but this is High 5, and it's really good. It's very citrusy. It's got a high IBU. It's 80, and I like the more hops, the better. So it's very good. Citrusy, I like that too. So I'm really enjoying this. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. And I hear, we always joke, as MJ mentioned earlier, we always joke that, it's just going to be our moms that tend to watch this show.
She's coming around here.
We always tend to have someone's mom tends to be on the show. And tonight we are blessed to have Kim's mom.
This is my
on
mom.
the show. Hello.
Hi, Kim's mom.
Hi. Can you hear him, Mom?
Thanks for joining us tonight, but it looks like you're joining us with a drink too. What are you drinking?
That's what I said to Kim. I want to know. I don't care if you're interested or not. I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking, Mom? What is it?
I'm drinking Moscato. And I should have had more before I got on.
Well, just keep drinking. We'll be on for a while. Keep drinking.
She's going to sit here at the bar with me and watch. So,
But I wanted to tell you how much I enjoy the show. It's really cute. I think
nice.
you're funny, and it's a great mix. So, but the National Weather Service heard I was in town, and they put out a hot air alert, so I better get out of here.
I'll have to add that she mentioned, the show was cute. Well, obviously, she's probably only been watching it since Kim's been on. Thank God we keep improving. It seems like
yeah. Oh,
every time.
okay.
So. And this won't be your formal introduction, Mike, but our guest, we always invite them to join us in the green room with a little drink as well. And Mike, I think, came prepared. Mike in Phoenix. So what do you got, Mr. Olbinski?
I actually have a Jack and Diet Coke because Diet Coke is the best.
In a holy grail.
In a Moscow Mule brass cup, which makes total sense. But it's delicious.
And I have no idea what that is, but it's a cool looking mug.
You ever had one of these? They're made out of brass and they stay freezing cold. You put ice and a drink in here and it's just freezing cold. I don't know. I love it.
Really?
Nice.
Come with Knights from the Round Table?
Sure.
Yeah. Does it sweat though? Does it sweat?
Not really.
That's
Just a little
cool.
bit. This is usually my drink at the end of the night when I'm ready to go to bed, and I have one or two of these, so hopefully I'll stay awake for this thing today.
Hopefully we don't bore you to death.
Yeah, you'll be the only one still awake, I think. I do want to mention, but before we get to Mike in the interview, I did want to quick bring up that recently Wired magazine had a little article by Laura Maloney, and it was called "The Storm Chasers to Follow on Instagram." And who was talking? I think it was Kevin Roth called it the Gram. Is that right? Called it the Gram. Anyway, we hadn't heard of that before, but it was cool. But anyway, so what they did is Laura listed 6 storm chasers that she felt you should follow and are really good. Well, number 1 was Chris Sanner of Tornado Titans, who contributes to our Titan U Minute on our show as well. And we had him on episode 20, if you want to see Chris. Number 2 is the Tornado Trackers, Jeff, Jeremy, and Gabe. And so I actually, after this came out, I'm like, we have 5, actually we had 4 of the top 5 on the list that we've had on the show or are going to have on the show. I'm like, well, we got to start rounding this thing off. So I reached out to those guys. And the Tornado Trackers, all 3 of them are going to be joining us July 13th on our show.
Sweet.
July 13th.
Nice.
So we got number 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Number 3 is Quincy Vagel, who was a former co-host on our show. And you can catch him on episode 1 and 2. Number 4 is our guest tonight, the awesome Michael Olbinski. So we're going to look forward to talking to him, learning a ton. Number 5 was Reed Timmer, who we had on episode 22 recently, so you can catch Reed. And then number 6 is the Base Hunters. And so now at this point, the Base Hunters, they're the only ones we have yet to be on the show. So I put question mark, question mark, question mark. That's a call out to the base hunters. We'll obviously be reaching out to you soon, but so that we'll have all 6 of the top 6. But
by the way, I don't necessarily know if that was a ranking or they just bullet pointed 1 through 6 chasers. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's more than fair. That's more than fair. I agree.
That's the
Well,
Santa
let's-
chalice talking, just to let you know.
Santa.
Chalice. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Dina, who's in the dark, but let her do her best to actually give our guest a formal introduction.
Well, luckily I have a little bit of light from the my laptop that's on a battery.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Dina.
But tonight we welcome Mike Olbinski. He's an Emmy Award-winning photographer who specializes in storm chasing and weddings and is based out of Phoenix, Arizona. When he's not shooting weddings, he's chasing storms from the desert Southwest all the way into the Central Plains.
And we lost her.
Uh-oh.
So I will,
I just want to know how
mentioned Emmy before.
many times you've been married, Mike, with all these weddings.
Oh, yeah, 150 times now.
So let me finish his introduction. So he calls himself a storm chasing wedding photographer, right?
Yeah.
And so apart from loving still photography of lightning, tornadoes, and almost any kind of weather, Mike creates time-lapse films a few times a year, which are outstanding, and I will get
Yes,
to talk
they
about
are.
those in a second. His work has been seen across the world in commercials, documentaries, magazines, and even Thor: The Dark World.
That's
And
right.
that's what I
Which is
wanted to
coming up.
ask. You
Right.
did Thor.
I haven't gotten to questions yet. Chill out. Chill out, dark woman.
I'm in a dark world.
She's
right
in the
now.
dark.
And last, let me finish Mike's introduction is totally gone to shit right now.
Too long. It's too long.
He tries to maintain his sanity while doing this full time and being a husband and father of 3 beautiful children. So, Dina, go ahead and ask your question to start it off.
Well, since I'm in the dark world, you know, when I knew when I found out you did something with Thor in the dark world, like 1, did you get to meet him? And 2, what exactly did you do?
I literally didn't do anything except get an email from Marvel. That was basically all I did, and then try to negotiate a little higher licensing fee than they really wanted to give me. But they saw my footage of the supercell that was in Booker, Texas, about in 2013, and it was a pretty good video. Went viral that year and was #1 video on all of Vimeo for 2013, which I couldn't believe.
Wow.
So it kind of went around everywhere, and so a lot of people licensed it for different things, and they needed it to put in the background of a shot. I didn't know what they needed it for, actually, but I knew they licensed it. It was really close to the opening day, like 2 months away, so I'm like, it's pretty much they're going to use it. They wouldn't contact me 2 months before and not use it.
Mhm.
So, and then I found out it got released in London first, and people started telling me my name was in the credits from that I knew in London. So then we went to watch it opening night, and not only was it like not just like a little thing in the film, it was like the top half of like a super dramatic moment when like Thor is crouched over Loki and he had just died, whatever. And the cloud is in the background like spinning around. I was like, oh my goodness, I got goosebumps. It was pretty incredible. It was like one of the best moments from doing this, actually.
Oh,
I bet.
sweet.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell us. So obviously, Mike, you've taken a lot of great photos and a lot of great time-lapse video and everything else. And in reading a little bit about your background, obviously one of the things that was really big for you was that first Haboob picture you took in 2011.
Yep.
And I love using that word, but but my question is that seemed to thrust you very quickly into the media world.
Yeah.
I guess, how did you handle that? So when you took that photo, maybe explain where you took it, but then how did you handle all that media attention and deal with it?
Well, actually, so it was a photo, but it was also the time lapse. That was my 3rd ever time lapse, and that's why it went crazy, because I got a time lapse of it rolling over downtown Phoenix, and I was on a parking garage that I had scouted out before. And when I knew a dust storm was coming, I'm like, this is the perfect place because it'll really show what a dust storm looks like, dwarfing like the downtown of the city. And so it turned out, I show up, it turns out to be the most epic dust storm we've ever had in history that anyone's ever seen that they can remember. So, but yeah, I posted it. I think when I was actually editing, I'm like, this is gonna get me on the Weather Channel tonight. Like this, I'm gonna get on the Weather Channel with this. That's like the furthest that I could think. And so not only did it do that, but I was interviewed like twice on the Weather Channel the next day, like live interviews. It was on CNN. It was on like the NBC Nightly News, and Brian Williams, I believe, like introduced the clip or something of my name's like on all these stations. So I didn't have like, I don't know if I had like tons of interviews. There was a lot of CNN, and there was a Today Show, like online Today Show and Weather Channel. But really what it did for me was a lot of people wanted to license it for stuff immediately within the next week or two. For, like an air conditioning company in Arizona want to license it for commercial. If you get a dust storm, get your air conditioning clean and stuff like that. And then I think within a couple weeks or a month, like Al Gore's office called and they licensed it for some climate change presentations. And National Geographic was asking about it, but they were a little weird about some things, but I can't remember. But it was just like, that really kind of set me on my path of like, I love doing time lapse and I love chasing storms, and actually something I did everybody else enjoyed. And I hadn't really had a direction. I just knew I loved this. And so I'm like, I'm going to keep time lapsing because I love doing this. And it turned out to be, I don't know, something worthwhile that started making me money. So.
Okay. So I have a question for you about time lapses. So how long do you set up the camera for? Is it a typical amount of time? Does it depend on the weather? Do you leave when you set up the camera? What do you do for all those hours?
No, it can vary from as little as like 6 minutes. Last year, I finally got my first tornado on time lapse, and I ran up a hill. I was in all these trees, and I ran up a hill, set up the camera, and started taking pictures every second. And I was only there for 6 minutes. That's how fast it moved across my field of vision, and that was it. But that same year, I'm also out there, and I had one thunderstorm coming at me, and I got in front of it. Wanted to make sure I knew that it was going to come right at me, waited a little bit, lined myself up, and started taking pictures. And I was there for almost an hour. It actually was slower than I thought. And so I was there for about 55 minutes. Ended up taking way more photos than I wanted, like 1,600 photos of this one storm. And I probably could have done it in half that. So it really varies. It's very dependent on how close you are to the storm, how fast it's moving, if the rain comes or if there's no rain. I mean, there's just so many factors. But generally, I feel like it's more like on average, probably like 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe at the most.
Okay.
So,
Is that your Emmy in the background? I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
Son of a bitch.
were you married when all this was happening?
Oh yeah. You know what's funny is right next to it is a plaque from the New Times where I got a Best of Phoenix Award for the best haboob photographer. I don't know which one I
I
like
always
better.
wanted that award.
There is such a thing. And right next to that is his mug that says "Best Dad."
Yeah,
Aw.
I have one of those. They love me. I do have socks that say "Best Dad." I did get one of those.
Oh, that's
An
cool.
Incredible Hulk behind you there too. You got a
Yeah,
cool
it's great.
room, man.
That's a little messy. I have that bookcase that looks like it's gonna fall over, but it's full of graphic novels and comic book stuff. I love it.
So what? Okay, so obviously the haboob photo put you, put you in the starlight. Where did the time lapse photography kind of start? And which of those was it? Vorticity that really brought you some more attention, or was there more before that?
There was more before that. I think the haboob time lapse was my third ever, so it wasn't very good, but it basically set me on the path going, I love this. I know I'm going to do this, and so I kept doing it. And I really wanted to go out to the plains and try to time lapse out there. And it took me about 3 years until 2013. And I picked like 3 days to go out. And that's when I got that Booker supercell that was in Thor. And that was another thing. Obviously, like I didn't expect anything to go viral again, but it did. And but it was more than that. It would kind of solidified the idea that I really need to do that. Like, this is what I really want to do. I need to go out here and I'm going to get all this footage and I'm going to do something with it. And then people might want to license it for stuff. It's going to be kind of my business. I'm going to invest in this time away, getting the best stuff I can and put it online and see what happens. And so I think it was a couple of years ago that I was out there for about 7 straight days, or maybe 5 days and 2 other days. And that's when I kind of put together my first film, like 7 days on the plains. And I had done a monsoon film. And they had all done like, okay, but, and I think my first monsoon one got in a Sedona Film Festival. It was the first time I ever got in a film festival, and it was just one film festival, and I was kind of excited about that. But I think Monsoon 2 kind of started the streak for me where I got, or The Chase. The Chase was the first one I did out in the plains, or first one I was out there for a long time, like 10 days, and I got a staff pick for that on Vimeo. And then Monsoon 2 came out and got a staff pick. And then the next year Vorticity came out and got a staff pick for that, and Monsoon 3 got one. And then I just released a black and white one this year, and that got a staff pick. And so I think probably a couple years ago is what really kicked it off for me, but every year it's been a bigger and bigger thing where I'm out there for like 7 days, then 10 days, and last year I was out there for 18 days.
Oh my gosh.
And this year I've already been out there for probably like 6 days chasing, maybe more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the end of May I have a couple tours. I'm going to be out there for at least 17 days more, not counting probably next week and stuff. So hopefully if this season will cooperate, I'll be getting the best footage I can possibly get. But last year Vorticity was pretty good. So.
Are you doing a monsoon prequel?
No, I have one and I pretend it doesn't exist. It was like the first one I
Exactly.
did. Oh.
Wow. So, Mike, do you have a weather background?
No, just loving the weather.
Okay.
You know, we in Arizona, we don't get a lot of storms except for the summer, and it's really hot here. So when you get a thunderstorm coming in town, it's like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I grew up watching lightning with my dad on the back patio, and my brother and I would watch lightning out the window. And then as I got older, I started looking at radar more. I think mostly when I was like married and we bought our first house, I'd watch radar a lot more. And we had wind chimes hanging in the back patio, and every time the storm would get close, the wind chimes would start going, and I love that sound. And I would always wait for the weather to come to me. But I was kind of learning about weather patterns and stuff like that. But since I really got into this is when I've really started learning more about meteorology. And even this year, I felt like I've already learned a bunch more than I knew last year. And it's a tough thing. I'm not into math, and I don't want to do calculus and all this physics. And
You
stuff
don't like differential equations?
No.
Who does?
I took AP calculus in high school, and that was enough for me. I was done with that.
That's why we drink.
So there's exactly. So there's like a certain limit that I don't want to get past, but I'm learning a lot more, and it's helping me. It's helping me a lot. I mean, yesterday or on Tuesday, was one of those days where I went out there and didn't look too good, but I thought it looked good. And by the time I got out there, the Storm Prediction Center actually upgraded to a slight risk while I was driving out there. And I'm like, see, I thought it was going to be good, and I kind of figured it out on my own. So I'm getting there. I'm getting better.
So what are you using? What are you using to find target areas and to identify that?
A bunch of different models. There's the College of DuPage, COD.weather. I use that one a lot because it's really kind of quick, and I like how to scroll through it real fast. I use various things like, I use the GFS a lot for long term, so I can start like seeing maybe what the trends are, and then as it gets closer, switch to the NAM and see what they have. And I really like there's the EHI models, the winds, the shear, and then the simulated radar helps a lot. And so kind of putting all those together to really kind of figure out where I think things might be.
That's amazing. You know all that, and you don't have any kind of meteorology background. I
feel like I don't know anything. I'm friends with guys that know so much more, that have written their own algorithms for forecasting storms, and I feel like an idiot most of the time, because there's a lot of things that I'm like, okay, I get what's happening, but if it's something new or different, like suddenly we're going to get like northwest flow or something, like it's hard for me to know why that's a good thing and how to measure that. So there's still things I'm always learning.
Nice.
We got. We have sorry, Dina, quickly, we have a listener question, I think, MJ.
We do. First of all, Mike, you have lots of fans out there. They're chiming in on the chat. So just so you know,
chiming. I like that.
Yes, they are. But Nathan,
he likes chimes.
Nathan Lukens asks, do you teach ways of remaining safe while taking photos?
No. To me, if you want to stay safe chasing storms, you should just probably not chase storms. I mean, like, honestly, I set my camera up a lot. If there's really good lightning, I set it up, make sure it's good, it's not going to blow over, and then I jump back in the car a lot of times and I sit and let it take pictures. That's about the safest thing you can do. And a lot of times I hate leaving my cameras. I think Kim asked me earlier, like, what do I do with my cameras if I leave them there? And if you do leave them, these storms, there's usually high winds. So if you not have like a weight on it, or like the tripod legs kind of spread out a little bit, I've had my cameras just blow over so many times.
I bet.
And so anyway, so I try to stay with it. I don't like to go inside. So it's not necessarily a safe thing to do, especially if the lightning is prolific and all around you. I mean, we had a good one last year. Storms coming at us. Lightning was kind of in front of us. Everything looked good. And then all of a sudden, all these clear air bolts started popping out of the anvil and striking behind us.
Oh my God.
And not very far, like a quarter mile or less. And that's when we all like, okay, it's time to go. We pack up and we jump in there. But, it's safety is, if you chase storms, it's just not necessarily safe. But that's
Sure. You don't send your kids out there to hold the tripod down then? Or?
There's 3 of them, one for each leg, right?
I've got one more. Barry Gray says, kind of related to what you were talking about with all the things that you use. Do you have a particular radar product that you use?
Yeah, I use GR Level 3 mainly when I'm out chasing. I use Radar Scope like at home and on my desktop. GR Level 3 is a PC only app, and so I run Max everywhere, so I don't really get to use it most of the time. But my laptop in my truck when I chase has a bootstrap on it, or Boot Camp, and so I can boot into Windows, and that's when I use GR Level 3. I like it a lot more because it's really got a better road display on it, and I feel like for whatever reason, I trust it more. Radar Scope, even now just added the grid of like 4 panels where you can see 4 things. That's what I really liked about GR Level 3, but it's also a little slower, and the roads don't work that great, and or they don't really have great road maps on there. So, yeah.
Dina, did you have a question? Yeah, we can't hear you.
You muted, Dina.
She's okay.
She's talking and talking and talking.
We can't hear Dina.
I'm not muted.
Oh, there you go. Now you're better.
All right.
Just messing with us.
It goes in and out for me hearing you guys too. But with even the weddings you have taken, have you ever had any really bad weather that has ruined one of them?
No, nothing that's ruined it. I did have a wedding a few years ago where I had to shoot a wedding the day in Arizona where we actually had what they call a transition event, which is between the monsoon and the end of the monsoon season, basically, where we get a cold front that comes through. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're really potent. And they're still a little warm out, and it creates like, in 2011, we had 7 tornadoes in northern Arizona in like a single day, which is rare. We get like 5 a year that people might see. And so 7 in one day is a pretty big deal. So this day was the same thing. This cold front was coming through. They had tornado watches up possibly, and I had to shoot a wedding. And so, but I'm driving to the wedding. It's at the Desert Botanical Gardens, and I look over, and there's a monster shelf cloud coming right over Phoenix. I mean, it was the best shelf cloud I've ever seen here. And they ripped off like parts of the roof of the airport and places and all this stuff. So I got to the gardens, and it was like a hurricane, and all the power went out and all this stuff. But you know what, luckily, I will say, when it's been a wedding where it's raining, they're lucky, in not bragging, but they're lucky to have me because I have radar. And I'm like, I was watching a couple of other cells go by, and I'm like, okay, guys, this is it. Once this one goes by, we can go. And it went by, the rain stopped, and we had 45 minutes to do photos of everybody, the wedding party, the couple, and everything. And we got it all done, and it was great, and they loved their images. But I think other people wouldn't know necessarily what to do, and would be like, we can't do this. How are we going to do it? So, but nothing too drastic. Just that. That was pretty crazy.
Did you toss in like a forecasting bill on that one then too?
I totally should do that.
$1,000 for that.
Mike, we'd be remiss not to ask you having you on, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners want to know. First off, if I'm Joe Blow or Phil Johnson, I guess for that matter, and I've got my camera phone.
Yep.
And I'm ready to start maybe getting into this storm photography thing. And Michael Olbinski he's now this awesome person. He's got stuff on Thor, for God's sakes.
Emmy.
And I want to be like Mike. Right?
Right.
Give us just a tip or two, unique tips that if I've just got a camera phone, what are some things I can be doing or paying attention to maybe get some decent photos on that first?
With just your phone?
Yep. That's all I got, baby.
Well, so some fun things you can do on your phone. There's lightning apps out there that will capture lightning pretty decently, where they're doing like 30 frames a second, and they'll pick the one that has the bolt off it. So there's lots of different lightning apps. On the iPhone, the 120 or 240 frames a second video is very cool. If you got a lightning storm in front of you and you just put your phone on something and shoot 240 frames a second, you can really see like the lightning like crawl across the sky or whatever. Or nice. I did it once, and I had a lightning bolt repeatedly strike probably 12 times in the matter of a second. But when you're standing there watching it, it'd be, so fast. But with the slow-mo, you could actually see it like and count like 12 times. So that's something.
Never in the same place twice, though, right? Because that doesn't happen.
That was called. Yeah, that doesn't. This is like, I think this is called like staccato lightning, where it is like one kind of bolt. I can't explain that. I probably shouldn't even try. But it's like the same bolt striking a bunch of times in the same place, but a different one later probably wouldn't strike in the same place. And then I think a lot of the phones have time lapse mode now, where you can. My friend Andy goes out chasing with me. He doesn't have anything by his phone, so he uses a little suction cup mount to hook his phone to the window and does time lapse with his phone whenever we're stopped somewhere.
That's a great idea.
Those are some like quick ways to like get into it. I mean, a lot of just taking a picture is mostly just kind of knowing the good parts of a storm and how, what looks good. And I really think getting into chasing, aside from those tips, you have to really, really, really like it. And it's almost like an addiction for me. I mean, it is kind of like an addiction. So I think to get really good at it and to really love it, you have to be kind of psycho about it.
Okay. All right. So now for our more advanced photographers who have their DSLR cameras or HD video cameras,
yeah,
give us an Emmy-winning Mike Olbinski tip on something you like to do or you've learned about that you think's really unique that someone could try.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Something that's unique. I mean, I guess for me, if you want to get into storms and you want to do something unique, you're going to have to just do it over and over in practice and learn like the right side of a storm to be on. Anyone can really take a picture of a storm. So it's not that you have a DSLR. I started off just like shooting storms from a distance and didn't really know what I was doing until I really started chasing them close and understood kind of how they look, where you're going to see the structure, how it's going to look with the sun behind it, or is it going to look better with the sun on it, these kind of things. And I think once you learn that, it's kind of hard to teach that. It's kind of an instinct a lot. So, but man, I don't know. I guess technical wise, I would just say if you got a lightning storm near you, just go out and try to shoot lightning sometime, because that's about the most fun thing I can imagine. I mean, I think a long time ago, if someone asked me, you can only do one kind of photography the rest of your life, pick one thing, which I would hate. But I was like, I'd probably just pick lightning photography because it's always so unique and different. If you're out there by yourself, or even other people are within a couple miles of you, you can get a totally different shot than they do. And most of the time, other people aren't out there and other people aren't capturing the same bolt. And it's something that no one else can really ever replicate. And so I kind of find it really unique and fun. So that's what I started off doing. So if you're starting off doing this and you want something fun to do, like try to go out after lightning and learn how to shoot that, because it's a heck of a lot of fun.
And if any kids are listening, make sure you ask your parents first.
Yes. Stay inside your car.
Hey, Mike, last question here before we move on. Storm Chaser. So you just put out a new book. Yeah. Awesome photo book and everything else. Just tell us a little bit of the inspiration behind what made you decide to do that.
Well, actually, they contacted me. I had somebody in London say, hey, these publishers are looking for kind of new books that they don't usually do. And so they said they love all your photos and we want to talk to you about doing a book. So they kind of approached me. I've been doing like self-published ones the last few years on Blurb, which I've never been too excited about. So this was the first time any real publishers ever approached me. So mostly that book is a collection of blog posts and all my photos for the last 5 years, where especially early on, I used to write a lot of stories about my images. And but then I started writing more of the stories on Facebook and stuff. So I kind of collected all the stories and all the images. And so I think that book basically starts off in about 2011 and goes up to last summer with the tornadoes I got. And so it's about 5 years worth of stuff. So I'm pretty stoked about it.
Cool. Outstanding book. We're actually going to be giving one of those away. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But how can listeners follow you on social media, Mike, and where can they find your works?
Oh, my goodness. I'm pretty much you can look up my name on Google, and that's how I pretty much had everything. So, I mean, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Mike Olbinski Photography on Facebook. I'm on Periscope. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Flickr. Believe it or not, Flickr is still huge for me. I get tons of views on my photos on Flickr, and I'm on 500 pics.
Oh, I bet.
I don't know. I'm probably forgetting something. My website is michaelbinski.com. I guess that one.
How about some of your films? Where can they find those? Any place?
Oh, and that's on Vimeo, on Vimeo.com. I really love Vimeo for that kind of stuff because they really, it's really more of like an indie filmmaker's kind of playground, and the footage and the movies that are on there are so amazing compared to YouTube, which is kind of like everybody's cat videos and all that kind of stuff. Vimeo is really more like a filmmaker site. So that's kind of where I started posting stuff. And they've been really nice to me there. So I love Vimeo.
Way to bash the cat videos. All right.
How are Brady is tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. Brady graduated. He doesn't give a crap anymore.
We'll never see him again.
That's right. All right, well, hey, so it's time for our lightning round. This is our speed round of fun questions for our guest.
Oh boy.
And so in honor of May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, we're going to be playing Star Wars Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, God.
We're going to put a little twist on it. But we're going to play between Mike and the rest of the freaks. So Mike, I know that you are pretty good with your Star Trek and Star Wars
We'll see.
knowledge. Okay,
As long as it's as long as it's not the Phantom Menace, those new 3 crap.
Well, yeah, can't promise anything. It's Trivial Pursuit. You get what the cards you're dealt with, right? And I don't know how good our freaks are either, but we're going to pit you against the freaks. So here's what we're going to do. Wow. So there's 6 colors in Trivial Pursuit: blue, pink, yellow, brown, green, and orange. And the goal is we gotta get a color basically, and whoever finishes with the most colors is going to be determine the winner. So it's either Mike or the freaks, and whoever gets the question right gets first choice at the next question. If you choose not to, you get the question. If you choose not to answer it, because if you answer wrong, the other side gets the color.
All right.
But you can pass. So if you get a question, you don't like it, you can pass it to the other side. But if they get it right, they now get the color, and then they get next pick.
Okay.
So you'll learn as we go along. So, but we'll start with our guest. So we at least give you the honor to start. So pick a color: blue, pink, yellow, brown, green, or orange.
Blue.
Blue. Here we go. So I'll give you the question. You can take it or pass it. What creature does Luke Skywalker bash on the finger with a big rock?
Rancor.
All right, he's got the first one.
Oh boy.
Blue goes to Mike. All right, Mike. You keep the whatever you call it. You keep going. So pink, yellow, brown, green, or orange?
Green.
Green. What planet is Anakin on when he finally admits he's given up trying to argue with Padme? Answer it or pass it.
Naboo? I probably shouldn't have guessed.
That is incorrect.
It
is Geonosis. So freaks get the green, and freaks get to pick. So I'm going to go. How about Maz? Maz, you can pick pink, yellow, brown, or orange.
Orange.
All right. So this is for all the freaks. You guys can connoiter and figure out what you want.
There it is.
Who is the first person in the Phantom Menace to utter "May the Force be with you"? You can answer it or pass it. Who's the first person in the Phantom Menace to utter "May the Force be with you"?
I think we should pass.
I think we should.
Yeah, I don't know it.
I think it's our only chance of getting points.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
All right, they're gonna pass. Mike, the Phantom Menace question goes to you.
If I get it wrong, they get a pie?
That is correct.
Oh, I pass then.
No, you can't. You can't pass.
I can't pass.
No, you can't pass it back.
Infinite game.
Okay, I'm gonna say Yoda, but it's wrong.
And that is incorrect. It is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Of course. I hate the new movies.
The
I knew I would
freaks
suck
get
at
that one.
this.
More Phantom Menace. More Phantom Menace.
Here we go. We're gonna go. Kim, pick pink, yellow, or brown.
How about pink?
Pink. What planet is Luke on when his mechanical hand is damaged? Answer or pass. What planet is Luke on when his mechanical hand is damaged?
I don't know this answer.
Can you repeat it one more time, Phil?
What planet is Luke on when his mechanical hand is damaged?
Ooh.
Just a minute. Let me Google that.
No. No. You're going to pass?
We're going to
I don't hear
pass.
anybody answering. All right, they're going to pass it. So, Mike, it's to you. What planet is Luke on when his mechanical hand is damaged?
Tatooine.
It is Tatooine. Very
Oh.
good.
Oh,
So
Dang.
Mike gets the pink. It is
Good
2-2. Mike has control.
It's 2-2, but let's note that I'm the only one who's actually had 2 right
Any
answers.
answers?
Details. Details.
We play it Stormfront Freak style here. All right, so Mike, yellow or brown?
Yellow.
Yellow. Who's accused of having delusions of grandeur in The Empire Strikes Back? Answer or pass?
Hold on, I know who says it.
Oh,
Who's accused of having delusions
Dina
of
knows it.
grandeur?
R2-D2.
Very good. You got that
Oh,
right.
gosh.
no.
All right, 3-2. You have control, and brown is the last color we need.
This is for the
go.
win.
Controlled.
So, well, it's either for the win or potentially a tie. We'll do a tiebreaker if it's a tie. So, Mike, your question is, who shuts down the Death Star's trash compactor? Answer or pass?
R2-D2.
The one I knew. Nice job.
Let me guess. The next
Nice
answer is
job, Mike.
R2D2.
I know.
So, luck of the draw, luck of the cards. All right, well, congratulations, Mike.
Now everyone knows how nerdy I am. That was great.
You win. You win the Star Wars Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, you're already married though, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That is true. All right. So, hey, chasers like Mike, if you're looking to live stream, you need to check out severestreaming.com. All you need is an HD camera or a webcam, a laptop, and a data plan. And severestreaming.com is going to provide the rest to get your GPS location and live video online and available for sale. So for over 10 years, they've been a leader in the chaser industry. They were the first to offer pro streaming accounts. They now have over 1,000 storm chasers that have signed up with them to broadcast severe weather live in the field. So let these experts help you get started if you want to get started. That's severestreaming.com from Severe Studios, and tell them Stormfront Freaks sent you. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. Our podcast listeners are going to hear the latest edition of Titans U Minute with Chris Sanner. But don't leave. We'll be right back with Mike and the Freaks to discuss over-editing storm photos. Folders. I need another drink. Yeah, Yoda needs another drink. We'll discuss over-editing storm photos and what the proper etiquette is for crediting your photographs and videos on social media.
Drink you need.
Man.
All right, break.
Hey.
All right.
Quick break. All right,
Cool.
great job, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome.
That was awesome.
good job. You whooped us.
My favorite part is the Trivial Pursuit so far. That's great.
Yeah, that's because you won.
I know.
Yeah, really.
Dude, so I played that game. My brother and I played my cousin and his little boy years ago, and they were all like Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones questions, and we got everything wrong, and they knew all the answers. I'm like, I don't know
Oh my
anything. I
God.
hated those movies.
Great.
I don't know anything about them.
I have, I've got a book that I was also looking at, considering it's a book. It's like a trivia book, but there's a lot of like not even movie stuff in that book, like
Yeah.
from the cartoons and the books and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know that crap. If I don't know it, I certainly can't expect anybody else to know it either, because I'm a Star Wars nerd deep down as well.
Memorize, so that's why I can usually. That's why I guess like you're like delusions of grandeur. I just had to remember the scene. And I'm like, oh, that's like ridiculous.
That's
That was
You're a
actually
nerd.
pretty good, because I remember who said that too, but I wouldn't have remembered necessarily who he was saying that to. All right, well, Mike, I'm going to do this quick. I'm going to have you do a quick sound bite. So you can. I had on here to say this is Michael Olbinski, Emmy Award-winning director of Vorticity, but obviously you vehemently deny that you're a director. So you can say whatever the hell you want, but just say this is Michael Olbinski, whatever
Something.
you want to be famous for. The guy who's credited in Thor, Dark World. And you're listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast. So that's all I'm looking is this is Michael Olbinski.
This is so much pressure. I tried to do my own little YouTube tutorial today. It took me like 5 times to record it. So this is great.
We got all
Well,
that.
hey, if you haven't realized by now, we don't really care a lot about perfection or about really anything. So whatever you say is going to work just fine.
All right, you guys
What do you
ready?
wanna say? What do you want to say? Michael Olbinski, what
I'm gonna say this is Michael Olbinski, Emmy-winning photographer, filmmaker of storm-chasing films, and lesser known for wedding photography. I don't know.
No, that's perfect. Do it. Just do it. Ready, go.
This is Mike Olbinski, Emmy-winning photographer and filmmaker, lesser-known wedding photographer for storm chasing and time-lapse films, and that's it. There you go.
Well, and we need
Maybe
you're listening to
You're
Stormfront
listening to
Freaks
Stormfront
podcast.
Freaks
Yeah,
podcast.
you're the reason you're on, buddy. No.
It's too much pressure. You're all these little boxes are looking at me. And,
Just pretend you're watching the
Everyone
latest
look
Guardians
away.
of the Galaxy.
that makes me laugh right now. I don't know. Mark reminds me of the guy from Modern Family. For some reason, what's the guy? I don't even remember his name.
Which Mark?
Oh, you.
Mark. No, yeah. You, Mark. All right.
What?
here you go.
Sorrow. Yeah. Maz. We call him Maz. To
Maz.
differentiate. Yeah.
Maz.
It's from One Drunken Night. What's your name? Muzz.
And now it's stuck. It's stuck.
Yeah.
We all got drunk and it's stuck.
All right. You guys ready? This is Mike Olbinski, Emmy-winning photographer and filmmaker of storm chasing and time-lapse films, lesser-known wedding photographer, and you are listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Boom.
Nice.
That's a good one.
R2D2.
Give yourself an Emmy, man.
Yeah.
Get an honorary one now.
Phil, we can roll anytime. They're not
Okay.
taking a break, so
All right. So we can get
just so you know.
started. All right. You guys good? You need to refill anything?
Wait, are we
I'm
still
good.
live on Oklahoma right now?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Oh,
Hi,
oops,
Oklahoma
sorry.
Weather Tracker TV.
Hi,
My
Oklahoma.
whiskey's gone, so I've got Chick-fil-A that I didn't drink earlier.
Okay.
Hey, Phil. Barry Gray says to remind people to check out our website for past episodes. Just
Okay.
thought I'd throw that out there. He says that remind people of that.
About ours?
Yeah,
About Barry's. Barry's got some too.
Barry's got some. Yeah. Well, you know,
BarryGray.com.
Barry
Very,
missed
very good.
Barry missed a couple because he took a break, of course, with the whole
That's
tragedy.
right. That's right. Okay. All right. So let's just go
Who's
ahead and get
Barry?
started. He's one of our followers. He's a storm
Oh,
chaser.
okay.
He's
Oh,
Thanks,
nice.
Barry.
He's like
Yeah.
crushed now that you said that.
Well, I thought he was a co-host on this show, and I thought I don't think I've met him yet. Oh no, never mind.
yeah, we've
I'm still
had.
kind of new.
Well,
No,
you're
he's
about
with-
to figure out we have co-hosts come and go pretty fast, Kim.
Why not?
I wouldn't keep that seat too warm.
My days are numbered. I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna tell my mom. Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry, Barry. I wasn't sure. Okay.
All right. Well, let's.
Maybe he can be a co-host.
So we'll get started. I will basically set up the whole editing storm photography. And so here's what I want to get talking about a little bit. And obviously, Mike would love all your feedback on this. But this always comes up. But it's over editing photos. There are some people that over edit the crap out of these things.
Yeah.
They're storm photos. They, as far as the saturation levels and all this, to make it look like nothing that you've ever actually seen. It looks like it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And there are people that are diehards. I take the photo, I don't edit it at all because this is how it should be, and I'm not making it something it's not. And so I think there's a good discussion there. And then I'll get into talking a little bit about how someone should, if you're going to share someone's photo on social media, what's the proper etiquette to do that to make sure they're getting the right credit and how you should do it and all that as well. So I'll set that up, but everybody can obviously chime in. Everybody good?
Good.
Good.
All right. MJ, go ahead and let's count us in. We'll go.
All right, let's get going. 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back. Let me go ahead and set up the discussion we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. And with Mike being here, we really wanted to get into storm photography. And one of the things I wanted to first talk about is editing storm photography, because it seems like this time every year, and it goes out throughout the whole year, winter and hurricanes and everything else. But you see people that will post photos and have photos where they took a picture and they posted it. And they're proud that this is exactly what the camera took. And there are people that also take images that they took and they over edit the crap out of it, and they saturate it, and there's just different colors that you really didn't see. And it's now a photo that really doesn't look anything like what they took because it's been so edited post-production wise. So is there, I guess what I want to get you guys talking a little bit about is what's proper. Is there something that's really proper? Because some people will look at one with a scowl, and others will look at the other one with their arms crossed. And is there a proper way to do this? Mike, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think?
Well, I hesitate to say anything in photography is proper because everyone has their own style. So it's kind of hard to tell people, no, you can't do that. But there's definitely points that lines that you can cross, but I still think that's still like subjective. But yeah, if I see some pretty crazy HDR over-processed, really halos everywhere kind of photos, I'm just like, I can't even look at those. I usually just move on. But I think it's the people that don't want to edit them and they just say, no, this is the way it was. My camera took this picture and that's the way it looks. And for some reason, that's almost what I disagree with more half the time because it doesn't look, especially if you're shooting raw, it doesn't look like that. It looked way different than what your camera got. So they're both ends of the spectrum are tough. I usually just skip past those and not say anything about it because I try to focus on my own stuff, but it's, I don't know. Is
storm porn, is that a good connotation or a bad connotation if you're a photographer?
Usually that means, that's usually that topic is, or when you say that, it's just like you love the storm, not necessarily what the photo has been changed into based off of crazy editing. But yeah.
I thought we were back to the haboob for a minute. I was looking.
Haboob too.
Yeah.
Well, Dina, what about you? We'll kind of maybe go down the line a little bit, and Kim, I'll go with you next. But what do you like? I mean, do you like to see storms that are just, here was the photo and that's it, Dina? Or do you like to see when there's a little bit more artistic contribution to it?
Are you talking to me, Phil?
I was, yeah.
Okay, sorry. You guys are cutting in and out through my phone. Like, it kind of depends on what you're looking at because sometimes you want something more artistic, but if you're looking at something scientific, like for me, I want to see what it actually looks like. I don't want to see it enhanced. I want to actually see it. But then you get into like, well, do I want a pretty picture on my wall as something different? But I would hate to put out a picture, say, at work and say, hey, this is the storm and it's been altered somehow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean altered meaning they've added stuff to it besides just maybe color and stuff like.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's kind of a different story, I think. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of pictures where we get them, people send them in and they're fakes. Have you guys seen that one of the rainbow that's like 50 different places? Yeah. And everybody tweets it. Everybody tweets it. It's not real.
It's fake news.
I'm just telling you, it's not real.
How about you, Kim? What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel?
Well, it's funny. Until Mike said that, I guess I didn't really think about how it really isn't. You take a picture of something and it really doesn't capture what you saw. There's so many times I thought about that where I take a picture of a sunset and I'm like, it doesn't do it justice. It's not really what I saw. So I get that now that maybe some editing might be appropriate, but then to try to use your memory to actually edit it to where it actually looked like you saw it, I mean, that might be difficult for me because my memory is not really good. But I get that now. But, maybe a question too, guys, is should you have to say it was edited, when you publish a picture? Should you have to say this was doctored? I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I do that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I had a supercell picture and I had it put inside my living room. And I wasn't sure if I actually had to add, this has been altered or not. So
that's exactly. See, I don't know. Maybe you should. I don't know.
I usually err on the side of wanting people to know if I do stuff like that. So if I do like a lightning stack photo, I always let people know. I mean, obviously people should know that many bolts didn't just happen at once. But I had a time lapse of a tornado last year, and in the time lapse you can see the power lines in front of the tornado because I couldn't get away from it. There was just power lines going there, and I posted a new photo that I had shot that day, and I said, this is from my time-lapse clip, but I took out the power lines because I really didn't want them in this photo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I still,
like that.
when I posted on Facebook, I'm upfront about it. Like this, I don't want people to like go, hey, in your time lapse, the power lines are there. In this photo, they're not. Well, why'd you lie to everybody, or why are you faking it? And I'm like, usually power lines, people don't care if you get rid of them. They hate everyone.
Yeah.
Pretty much universally power lines.
Did anybody say anything?
What they say when you deleted your kids from the tripod?
Child Protective Services, line 2.
So I've seen, and the thing that I always think about is there's a photographer on Twitter I see a lot retweeted, where she's always taking sunset photos of New York City and Manhattan.
Jennifer Cordy.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful, but they're also incredibly saturated and changed and altered and
Lots of
so
purples.
you never know. Is that, and I think, Mike, you've talked about in the past the difference between the artistic photo and the documentarian kind of style photo. And
well, I actually follow her. Honestly, I actually have one of her photos sitting back there in the corner. It's crazy. I actually don't think that her work, I've never looked at her work and thought, unless you're thinking of someone else.
I think I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, because at least the one Jennifer that I know it isn't. But I think that for me at least, I want my photos to look a little bit more dramatic than maybe they were. Like I see in person, a lot of times when you see storms in person, they are dramatic, and your camera cannot capture the fact that you can see the horizon light and this dark storm at the same time. Your cameras usually don't have enough dynamic range to see everything without multiple exposures and all that kind of stuff. So, but I still like it to be real dramatic. I just try to keep it, I stay away from saturation slider. I stay away from like the vibrant slider, and I do a lot of level adjustments and luminosity masks that actually bring out the colors and stuff and deep richness and contrast without actually having to manipulate the colors. And I think that's the problem is people use that saturation slider and don't realize that's just global saturation. You're much better off like doing vibrance, which is more selective. And so I try to keep it tasteful. I try to keep them looking realistic, but I still try to make them look a little bit, a little more artsy than a typical one if I can, but I still try to like maintain like a balance where I don't go too far.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's good.
What do you guys think about the media as far as
We hate them.
posting?
Hey!
I'm sorry, just kidding.
as far as posting photos, do you think how far should they go with posting edited photos or just raw photos as far as the media goes, as opposed to the more artistic style, trying to maybe sell those? Should the media limit themselves to a certain style or be open to all of it?
From people like us or just their own photos? I guess I'm not sure what you're asking.
From other people. So if I'm the Weather Channel or if I'm Channel 23, local ABC channel or something like that, and we want to post, hey, we want to show viewers, hey, look at this storm photo.
Yep.
What should they be showing? Should they limit themselves to being more realistic, or should they allow themselves to show some of the more artistic photos?
That's tough because they don't necessarily know. I mean, a lot of times, news outlets and stuff post photos that are fake. Like
Careful,
Dina was
Mike.
just talking about fake photos. I mean, it just happens. People, I had some a media account in Las Vegas tweet out a picture of my dust storm, my Haboob from 2011, saying, "This hit Vegas earlier today." And everyone's like,
geez.
no, it didn't. That was Phoenix like 6 years ago. So there's just like those things that happen. But I think as far as determining if it's like too over processed and stuff like that, I don't think they know. I think the media and those social media, those accounts should worry more about making sure it's actually a legit photo from the place and time that the person sharing it got it from, and make sure they're the actual owners of the photo, because that's what happens a lot is those kind of weather. Anytime a tornado happens, people, for whatever reason, I don't understand people that do this, but they're like, oh, cool. And they go grab an old photo from 10 years ago and say, this just hit San Diego today because they knew San Diego had severe weather. And they just do that to cause problems, and then the media sees it. And so I think they need to be better about making sure that this is actually a legit photo and where it came from.
So are you saying just report the facts and
no more fake news?
Fake news.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, because Mike being a big photographer, I've seen all kinds of ways that people, especially on social media, are posting photos or video that aren't theirs and crediting or sometimes even not crediting the individual. What do you feel is the proper etiquette for if you're using or posting someone else's video, what to do?
Well, the proper etiquette is to share it from either their Facebook page or from YouTube or Vimeo, wherever they posted it. That's the proper etiquette, to make sure that the artist still gets the traffic or the hits or whatever. You know, if YouTube has ad revenue, make sure that you share their YouTube link and they still get the credit. But the problem is people don't want to do that because that doesn't get them the interaction that you get if you upload your own video to Facebook. And so they want to take your video and download it and upload it. And if they credit you, that's fine. But if they haven't actually asked you if they can do it, then they are just taking advantage of you. And somehow they got your video without you giving it to them. So they must have illegally downloaded it off of YouTube, which you can do. And they just uploaded it and credited you. And that's a no-no. So for me, I don't let that happen. I've had a huge Facebook accounts that have 12 million likes, and they're like, we want to upload your video to our page and share it and we'll credit you. And I'm like, no, I'd much rather that you pay me for it. If you pay me $500, then go for it. Or if you're not going to pay me, then that credit doesn't do me any good. All you're getting is cool video so that you get more interaction on your page and I get nothing really.
Money talks.
Yeah.
And
so
Dina's going, shut up. Don't
Hey, except for me. No, but I go through this every day too. We go through this every day trying to hunt down the original person who took it, because it could have been retweeted 50 times.
Yeah.
And you're trying to hunt down the original person.
Right. No, it's tough too, especially in the environment that we're in, where it's the faster that you can get out the news, it seems like you have to be fast. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to always be accurate, I think. And I wish there was an easier way to kind of look back and find out who did that kind of stuff. So.
All right. Well, tell us what you guys think. Our listeners and viewers, you guys can always comment by email at questions@stormfrontfreaks.com, and we'll share some of those on our next show. Weatherproshop.com. So you guys know we've talked about their great caps and their laminator spotter reference cards, but they also are one of the only retailers to offer a full line of women's apparel, along with their men's line of Skywarn logoed performance polos and T-shirts. And they really got some, guys, you got to check out weatherproshop.com. They really got some great shirts. But they'll also be releasing a line of dual polarization training cards as well to their laminator reference card line. And know this, and we just announced this last show, but I wasn't aware of this. New customers, if you set up an account and order something, you're going to automatically receive a 5% off discount on your order. But if you're new and you're a Stormfront Freaks listener, you're going to get an additional 5% off at checkout.
Ooh.
When you enter the code STORM, STORM, enter that code, you'll get an additional 5% off your order, and that's at weatherproshop.com. So we're going to take our final break so listeners can hear Brady's Storm School. The rest of you watching, go ahead and refill your drinks. And when we come back, it's time for our Weather Fools and WX resources. And those of you watching us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV tonight, thanks for tuning into our show. You can always catch more Stormfront Freaks podcast videos at our website, stormfrontfreaks.com. You'll find previous shows, links to our videos, as well as ways to contact us. But thanks again for watching, guys. Tune in next week for our show.
Thank you for listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. To subscribe and be notified when new episodes of our bi-weekly show are available, you can go to iTunes, Google Play, or your favorite podcast app and search for Stormfront Freaks. If you would like to contact us with questions or make comments about the show, shoot us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com or follow us on Twitter @StormfrontFreak. We'd love to hear from you. For show notes, additional information about this episode, as well as past and upcoming shows, videos, photos, and more, visit our website at stormfrontfreaks.com. While you're there, check out the interactive radar provided by our friends at zoomradar.com, providing interactive weather content for web, mobile, and digital displays at cost-effective prices. zoomradar.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/stormfrontfreaks. Join us next time and tell a friend about the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Bye.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Good job, guys.
All right.
Second break.
All right, that's it.
Mike, thanks a ton, brother, for joining
Absolutely.
us. And taking
Thanks,
us
Mike.
on.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
You guys are welcome. Thanks for having me on. That was fun. I don't think last time we had, was it just Phil last time or just two of you? I can't remember. It was just a
Well,
lot of
you know
people.
what we did last time when you were on was what we called a bonus episode.
Okay.
So it wasn't one of these typical where we had all the co-hosts and all that stuff. So it was just me, and then we had you and Brian and Jeremy on, and the focus was just storm photography.
Oh, that's
But,
right.
but it was a bonus episode, so it
Cool.
wasn't a part of our normal
Gotcha.
episode programming. So that's why you have definitely you probably should have graduated a long time ago.
Yeah.
You graduated to be a full-fledged guest in your own right.
He's
I
a
remember
freak.
I was sitting on the
He's a
side of
freak.
the road doing that one, I think.
You were,
Somewhere
yeah, I
west of
remember
Phoenix,
that.
Yeah.
I want to be a freak.
We had all kinds of technical issues that
Oh,
night, too.
really?
I think we did. I think I was actually part of it, wasn't I? Or was that the one
No,
you did?
you were not. Yeah, I think
Oh,
it was just
that was
just
the
me.
problem.
Yeah, it was. But I know one of our guys had really bad bandwidth, and we hardly ever heard it. It was like Dina. Dina coming in
Wait,
and
she's
out.
back.
He was horrible. He had horrible bandwidth.
The power
Oh, yeah, Dina,
has
we were
not
talking
come
about you.
back.
Sorry about that.
I heard you. I heard you.
In a good way.
It was fine. I just it's been an hour. What's up with the power?
Yeah, Dina, you need to call the power company, but you're on the phone, aren't you?
I'm on my
That's true.
phone, and I'm like, I hope I have enough juice for my my alarm to go off.
Uh-oh.
Hey, quick question, Mike. Do you
Yeah.
want to stick around and stay for our Weather Fools and Weather Resources segment?
Sure. I think I can. Unless
More than welcome.
I have to help my I think I got a little bit. I usually help with the
Does your wife ever want you around? Because you're 18 days gone, 7 days gone.
Well, it's actually she's
I got time.
she's probably pretty excited right now because I haven't chased as much as I thought I'd be this spring because I'm pretty dead. So I'm
So you think?
well,
She's
yeah,
excited.
Well, I think she is. I
Okay.
hope so.
Well, that's good. Well, then I'll say this. If you're sticking around, so I don't know if you're familiar with these two segments. Weather Fools is if someone who did something really stupid in weather or silly or dumb or whatever, we kind of call them out on the carpet for our Weather Fools segment. So if you have something or somebody that you want to share, you're welcome to do that. And then we have WX Resources or Weather Resources, which is just might be a website, an app, a piece of equipment. You might, from a photography standpoint, maybe throw in a good piece of equipment that you want to throw in there. I think that would be good because obviously a lot of our listeners might want to know that are tuning in to listen to you. So why don't we do that? So Weather Fools. So Kim,
Yes.
MJ. Now remember, MJ will count you in
Okay.
this time, right?
Yes, I will.
So
Yeah.
so he'll count you in. But so just explain Weather Fools, obviously, to our listeners.
Okay.
But who has a Weather Fool to share so that Kim can introduce you? And I do.
Well, I did, but I can't show it, so I
Just
can
a-
do the weather resource without showing it, but I can't do the weather fool without showing it.
You know what? You sent it to me, so let me pull it up. I've got it, and as long as MJ shows my screen when we cover it.
No, I'll
And-
show Maz's.
Smart ass. So I'll show it. Obviously, we won't play the whole thing. It's pretty long. I watched part of it. It was pretty funny, but again, just explain it as well as things are kind of happening
As
a
I
little
can.
bit.
Make sure you play it out because I know there's an advertisement for 15 seconds first.
Okay. Let me pull that up. Who else has a weather fool? Anybody else besides me and Dina? That's it? Okay.
I don't. Nope.
All right. And then don't linger too long on that, Kim. But
Okay.
whoever you finish with, take it back and then turn it over to send it to Maz for the WX resources.
Okay.
And then Maz,
Okay.
figure out who's got that. I have a weather resource.
Phil, okay.
I do too. It's but you may have to show it, Phil. It's in telecast.
Oh, shit. Okay. You're going to make me work tonight, Dina.
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
So I got
You're
Dina.
in Thor
Mike,
the
you got
Dark
something?
World.
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Mike,
Power, Dina.
Dina's got
Yay!
power back. Mike, do you have some kind of piece of photo equipment you could say as a weather resource?
I like a lightning trigger that I was actually did my little podcast on myself today. I don't know
There
if
you
that's
go.
something useful.
So just talk about
very
that.
much so.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
A good resource.
So Dina, Mike, Phil.
Yep, and
Yeah.
I'm still pulling up Dina's stuff. So.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
do
gonna
it.
probably have to because my internet stuff's not booted up yet. I just
Okay.
got lights, for God's sake.
Well, your hair changed too. How's that
I
possible?
know.
I
An
know.
hour later. Holy cow.
Indoor plumbing too. Just got it.
Mark MJ. Wow. No, all of a sudden it looked like your hair was extra like done and all coiffed. And the lights came on. I'm like, hey, she's got people there.
Woo!
There we go. She's got people.
Makeup! Makeup!
Get the hell in here quick.
Snap to it, people!
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, is right. Hey, I just got back from Tybee Island. I
What?
just got back from Tybee Island.
That's
you
so
know,
nice.
yeah,
Where
it's
is that?
It's an island off of Georgia. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's just a small little island by Savannah. It's just you go through Savannah to get to it. It's pretty cool.
Thought it was like a Korean island or
Hey,
something.
hey,
I'm like,
Dina, on your weather resource, why don't you just explain it? I don't think you need to show the website.
No, I don't
You
think I need to show it. I
Yeah,
don't
just
need to show it.
explain the link and then what's on there that you like, and I think that's good.
Okay.
But I do have I have your blooper or your weather fool video
Okay.
pulled up,
Yeah, because my router's not booted up yet, I could tell.
and then I need to pull mine up here too.
the captain's wearing off, guys. We gotta move on here.
Okay. All right. I think I am. Phil, are you going to Indiana ChaserCon? I got that question last time. Yes. Yes, I'm planning on going back. Those of you watching to Indiana ChaserCon in November, and I'm actually drinking out of my Indiana ChaserCon koozie,
Neat.
my beer tonight.
All right.
Is that just a separate ChaserCon, Indiana?
Yeah. It's not a part of the national bigger one.
They seceded.
Interesting that they let you use the name. It's kind of interesting. Or
The
whoever.
ChaserCon name.
Yeah.
In well, maybe because it's in ChaserCon.
Maybe.
It's not ChaserCon. I probably just got a bunch of people in trouble now.
Well, we had to change ours from Arizona ChaserCon to MonCon. Because
Really?
let's change it. Yeah.
Well, maybe because it's in ChaserCon. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe it'll be changed by the time next November rolls around.
And you will not be invited back.
That could be.
Sorry.
That's right.
Just
Lawyer-
wondering.
Damn it!
Lawyers
God damn
on
it,
the line.
Phil! Shut the up. All right, let's go ahead. Let's count Kim in.
Okay.
So who's got? Am I the only weather fool? And Dina.
And Dina, right.
So I'm showing
And Mike.
both.
Oh yeah,
And
fool.
me.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Who are you gonna go with first?
I'll go with you first, Phil.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Is
ready?
that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to Stormfront Freaks podcast. We are actually going to go to our Weatherful segment right now where we search for people doing maybe silly things that they shouldn't be doing in the weather, looking at videos or pictures and call you out on it if we can. So let's start with Phil, and I think, Phil, you have one for us tonight.
I do. I do have a weather fool. Now, this a little different for what I'm used to doing. I am not going to necessarily call this person out, which normally I do. And the only reason I'm doing this is because they've been called out a ton already, I think, at this point. But I think a lot of people know that just recently I think it was an F4 tornado hit Canton, Texas, and killed some people, injured a lot. And it was definitely a deadly tornado. But that night, there was an individual that posted a tweet that was on a chasing tour. And their post said, "Hey, fun day with, the tour company." And I won't share the tour company name either, but they said, "Fun day with the tours, large violent tornado that hit Canton, Texas, front row seats, !" Now, obviously this tweet was a little person was a little too excited about something that was very deadly. And to their credit, I really don't think they're a chaser. They were obviously with a tour, so they're probably not normally used to doing that. More than likely, it was probably the first tornado they've ever seen, and wasn't aware at the time. And this is what they said: wasn't aware that anybody had died in the tornado. Yet they knew that it hit, because the tweet said that hit Canton, Texas. They knew it hit the town. And so people started calling this person out, and I certainly think they deserved at least a hand slap to go, this maybe isn't appropriate. Why don't you pull that tweet down or repost something different? But I'll tell you, good old Twitter, leave it to Twitter to gang up and party hard on people. They ganged up on this guy pretty darn good, which I thought got a little bit out of hand for someone who I think was just kind of new, didn't know, needed to be corrected a little bit, but I think that's all they needed. But he's my weather fool. I'm not, but I'm not using his name or the tour name, because I think he's got enough crap already. So so that's my weather fool.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson.
I think so too. Boy, social media can be so mean. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you, Phil. Now, what about you, Dina? What do you have for us?
I do. This one's a compilation of kind of bloopers. A lot of them are on-air personalities, and sometimes they get caught just kind of standing there waiting, which, is one of those things where you think you're ready to go and you're waiting for a countdown, but you're actually on air. A lot of it's a slip of the tongue where I don't even want to repeat.
Are you guys seeing any of this yet?
Not yet.
No. I could try it, though.
Yeah, I got it pulled up, so here we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
It's there.
There it is. But like this one, it's a different language, but it doesn't even matter, because she just goes, she drops the F-bomb. A lot of them, and I don't know if it even meant the same thing. And like when I was watching it, and you see people like going by.
Oh no, look at that.
Green screen problems.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's funny.
Oh, that's typical.
I've done that. I've walked in front of a camera before too, and
look how far away she looks. Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's cute. It made me sit there and watch it, so it was kind of cute.
Yeah, I love those bloopers.
Yeah.
They're awesome. That's good. Well, we've had some great ones at the Weather Channel, that's for sure.
Yes.
That's awesome, Dina.
Yeah, it's cute. You guys should watch it. It's like there's a few bad words in it, but nothing too bad.
Is the guy who saw the spider on Chroma Key and screamed, is he in there?
I didn't see him, no. But that's
awesome.
always a classic.
Oh my goodness, that is like, wow, dude.
That one's got some legs. That one's been around the track a few times.
But
All right, that was Weather Fools. Now we're going to hand it over to Maz for WX Resources.
Well, thanks.
Sure. You're
so
welcome.
WX, for those of you who don't know, stands for weather. The Weather Resources.
You're brilliant.
I know, right? Well, sometimes people need a little help and go, what does that Wix on the license plate mean? Anyway. Okay, so we're going to kick things off here with some weather resources, cool gadgets, places to go to check out new spangled features of whatever that's weather related. We're going to start with Dina. Why not?
Okay.
Let's do it again.
All right, mine is Intellicast.com, www.intellicast.com. There's a lot of things on there. You get satellite, you get radar, you can actually watch a lot of videos. What I like about it is you can look at surface maps, you can look at forecast radar. It's all free, which we love free.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff I like on there too is if you zoom down in the radar, That's one place I go. If it shows like this little pink box on the radar site, the site is down, which is a good one because a lot of times you're like, why does like radar look like it's got a hole in it?
Yeah.
And it's because the site's down, and sometimes that's just for me the easiest way to go check. But you can get forecast maps, radar, satellite, you can get everything. It's a great website.
What's the address again?
www.intellicast.com with
Awesome.
an I.
Thanks, Dina. All right. Hey, Mike, our guest, you got something cool.
I have a little lightning trigger. It's actually not so little, but it's the lightning trigger 4, which you go to lightningtrigger.com. The guy who makes this, actually one of the first ones who made it, and lightning trigger is actually a registered trademark, so literally no one else can use that term, lightning trigger. But this is the most expensive one out there, and it's the best. I use it all the time and get so many daytime dusk lightning photos where you're shooting at like 1/60th of a second. You have no hope of getting a lightning shot unless you destroyed your shutter by taking 1,000 photos. And this will allow you to get it in a lot simpler way. So if you're really, want to get started lightning photography, we talked about that earlier. It's a useful tool. But
What does it do exactly? Do you hook it to your camera?
Yep, it's this is a lightning sensor in the front. It detects the flash of lightning, and then this just connects to your shutter release on your camera, and it tells it to take a picture. This is probably the easiest part of it. You have to get your settings on your camera right, slow shutter speed, good ISO, whatever, to pick up to get a good exposure. But this just senses the lightning and takes the picture, so you don't actually have to sit there and click your shutter over and over and over and over. So it's pretty
that's cool.
Yeah.
What's the name of it again?
It's the Lightning Trigger 4, like IV, and you go to lightningtrigger.com.
And I heard if you say it one more time, you get a free one.
Man, I've sold a bunch of these for this guy. Everyone I know has gotten them because of me, and I haven't gotten anything for free. So
About time.
that's okay. I like to recommend the good stuff, so I don't care at all.
Hey, Mike, hold on. Is that an Emmy I see behind you? All right. Hey, let's wrap things up with Phil.
Yeah, and I should probably clarify, Mike, that's lightning trigger, not lighting trigger, correct? And he just left, but...
there you go.
He's bringing it over. He's got
Yeah.
Pump
Let's
that
see
chest
that,
out.
Emmy. There we go. Nice.
Okay, so my WX resource I'm going to share with you guys is a website. It's www.theweatherprediction.com, and I just actually ran across this last week.
Yeah, hold on. Isn't Google Track what you watch or something?
Is that what you were looking at earlier?
That's beautiful. Yeah, it must be. They always don't they always trigger that stuff to like what you were looking at before? What the heck is that? Anyway,
Jill on
so
line 4.
Oh, geez.
So the weatherprediction.com. So it's not probably the most newest fangled looking website, but if you want great weather education, like if you're wanting to learn about weather and learn about all different types of weather and stuff like that, like Mike is kind of self-taught when it comes to weather as well. There is a lot of outstanding resources, educational resources on here, and that you can follow and go through to help you learn how to view things and read radar. And if you're wanting to be a better storm spotter or storm chaser, there are things on there as well for you to, figure out how to read all that stuff. So anyway, just a great educational resource. That's the weatherprediction.com.
Yeah,
What's
I do
that
like
website
his
again?
stuff, Phil. I like his stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that website again?
The weatherprediction.com.
No, the other one that you took off the screen.
Yeah, I didn't take it out.
There it's gone
now it's some
already.
boot, and I wasn't looking at any boot websites.
Yeah, Jill
either,
put
so
that up there.
I have no idea what that is. I'm gonna just turn it off.
That's a different dark world.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
At least it said 30 and older, and it
All
wasn't
right,
like
well-
18 and older.
From Russia.
From Russia.
Oh shit. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, that'll be a bleep.
More work for me.
So that does it
Yeah, this
for
won't
our,
make the podcast.
that's our Weather Fools and WX resources. We will post all of those referred to sites except that girl site. We will post all the other ones.
Dust
we
me
won't,
down,
we won't put
comrade.
the boot site won't go on there either, but we'll post all those on our show notes for episode 26. Just go to stormfrontfreaks.com look up episode 26 show notes, and those will all be on there if you want to check them out yourself. MJ, any listener questions, responses? Good stuff.
Hey, we got a few. Kate McComb did a shout out to us. May the 4th be with you.
Hey.
Thanks.
People, so thanks, Kate. Or Kat. Sorry, Kat McComb. Kia says, or actually, Kia gave us some ideas about future guests. I know Phil took a look at that list that she had sent us. Peter Forrester gave us a shout out. He was the winner of the anemometer in our last contest, and he's looking forward to using that during his storm chasing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
So that's fabulous. Rob, let's see. Oh, he thinks Kevin, our last guest, needs to be our new panel member. So and he loves our guests, like Mike and everybody else we have on. So we certainly
well, as we told Kim, man, these seats are moving all the time.
You're all overpaid.
Not by want, usually, not because we want them to be, but they just kind of tend to lose them left and right.
And then, of course, we need to announce the winner of our weatherproshop.com Storm Chaser cap.
Yes.
And laminated spotter reference cards. We don't have any sound effects anymore, so you're going to have to help me out here.
Yeah, Google Hangouts got rid of all that stuff, but this is our hat and chaser cards. And
the winner of our weatherproshop.com giveaway is Isaac Schluschi.
All right, Isaac.
Awesome.
God bless you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I think I know that guy.
That's
I know
right.
that.
We got some good names. That Cat McComb, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
She had cool names.
Good. Only people with cool names listen.
Yeah, you have to
That's
be cool
right.
to watch
That's right.
us. This is the cool channel.
All right. And MJ, did you want to announce our new contest, or wanted me to do that?
You'll have to do that because you didn't send me the script.
I did send you the script. I did. Yeah.
Burn.
I did. I sent it to you. But anyway, so all brotherly love. So the next drawing, we're just doing drawings left and right now, and I love it. So this is for a hardcover copy of Mike's book, The Storm Chaser, with all his photos, all this. This is unbelievable. And I will say this: the book is beautiful. It's far better than the Kindle or PDF version, the digital versions. And Mike warned me about that, but I will agree. If you're going to get the book, get the hardcover. This sucker is beautiful.
I think it's actually in stock on Amazon right now for like decent price. So
All right.
All right.
Check it out, Storm Chaser by Michael Olbinski. So we'll post that on Twitter and Facebook. Look for the pinned tweet or the pinned post and just retweet it or share it. And make sure you also follow us or like us to be eligible to win. And that contest will end May 17th, and we'll announce the winner on our next show as well. So appreciate you helping us out with that, Mike. That'll be awesome.
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Mike.
Great book.
All right. So
Question, Mike, whoa.
Oh.
Do you sleep with that under your pillow? That
We don't judge. We don't judge.
All right.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Well, that about does it, I think, for this episode of Stormfront Freaks Podcast and Stormfront Freaks Raw. So thanks for listening and watching. And if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review on iTunes. And remember to subscribe on your podcast app of choice so you always get the latest content. Special thanks to our awesome guest, Michael Olbinski. Mike, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. I'm going to
Thanks,
subscribe to this right now before I forget.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And our next episode is in 2 weeks. So again, we're a bi-weekly show. So the next episode in 2 weeks is on May 18th, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary with with Weather Channel app on-air meteorologist Ari Sarsalari is going to be our guest, as well as his wife, Weather Channel social media specialist Jen Watson, and I should say former Stormfront Freaks co-host.
That's right.
Yeah, they come and go.
Another former. And we also have some surprises planned that I'm not even sharing with our freaks.
Oh.
So they're going to be surprised as well. So go to stormfrontfreaks.com if you'd like to watch it live. But for MJ and Maz and Dina and Kim and Mike, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will definitely catch you next time.
Das Vidania.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Long and prosper. That's a wrong movie.
Whatever.
Nice try. Nice try. All right. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Mike.